What's up, Bible nerds? I'm AJ Holloway, and this is 5 Minute Friday, where we explore God's story so that we can add value to our stories. Now, in today's video, we're going to take a look at another literary device that the Bible uses a ton, and that's contrasting characters. Let's get into it. All right, set the timer. Let's see if we can do this. 5 minutes. Ready? Go. We're continuing a series of videos on how to read the Bible as literature, and we're going to break this video up into two videos. Today we're going to talk about contrasting characters, and in the next video we're going to talk about contrasting storylines. So in storytelling, a contrasting character is actually called a foil character. It's where they put two opposing characters together where they highlight each other's differences. This term came about in the 1500s when jewelers would actually put a thin sheet of metal or a piece of foil behind a jewel or diamond so that it would make it shine. Likewise, in storytelling, a foil character that opposes the antagonist shows how that character can shine more in the narrative. And the Bible uses this a ton. Now, you may have noticed the use of a foil character in the film Star Wars: The Last Jedi, as we're introduced to an aged Luke Skywalker who is on this desolate planet. He's a curmudgeon and he has given up all hope on the cause. And then it puts into contrast Rey, the new zealous, hopeful Jedi. And by introducing Luke as a foil character, it shows the strength and the upcoming hope that is found in Rey, this other character. And we begin to see in this how a contrasting character in a storyline begins to work. Now let's take a look at an example within the Bible. So in the last video, which I'll link right here, we were taking a look at Jonadab, Amnon's friend. He was a man who the Bible said was wise, and we see that he uses his wisdom for folly, and tons of lives were affected because of this misuse of wisdom. Tamar was raped, Amnon was murdered, Absalom was exiled for 3 years, and David, the king, was now mourning the rape of his daughter, the loss of a son, and now the exile of his other son, Absalom. And we see that the misuse of wisdom has made the entire group of people surrounding the narrative fall into disarray and into chaos, which is now setting us up for the contrast of characters that's going to be presented to us in the very next chapter in 2 Samuel chapter 14. So 2 Samuel 14 actually opens up with David's friend, Joab, who perceives that David's heart is concerned for his exiled son, Absalom. So here's what he does. He goes and he finds a wise woman, and the use of the word wise is now linking this character to the last character, Amnon's friend, Jonadab. And so Joab finds a wise woman and he sends her before the king, and this wise woman presents a parable before the king. Now, don't want to get ahead of myself and go into next week's video, but we're seeing here contrasting storylines. You may be thinking, if you're familiar with the story, about Nathan the prophet who came before the king and gave him a parable. So we go forward and we see that this wise woman begins to use her wisdom in a different way than Jonadab did. She presents this parable to David, and she presents herself as a widow whose son was murdered by her other son, and so now she's lost her husband, she's lost one of her sons, and according to Jewish law, the avenger of blood now must kill her other son, which will leave her with nothing, thus in that society making her vulnerable. It pulls on the heartstrings of David, and David tells her, says, not a single head or not a single hair on the head of your son shall be harmed. And she looks at him and she says, well, then why are you not bringing your son back into Israel? Why are you not restoring him? Jonadab, the friend of Amnon, used his wisdom for folly, and we see an entire chaotic episode devolve from that misuse of wisdom. And in contrast, we now see Joab and this wise woman. And because we have the foil character of Jonadab, we are now highlighting and we're seeing these characters shine. And it shows us what a true friend looks like and how wisdom should be used. A true friend will go and correct somebody when they're in the wrong and do it with love. And true wisdom is always used to restore mercy and to bring restoration of somebody. And we're beginning to see this unfold because we have contrasting characters right next to each other from one chapter to the next. And we see this because of this literary device of contrasting characters. I hope this helps you in your Bible study time, and I hope that you see things in the Bible that you've not seen before as you apply this literary device of studying the Bible. If this helped, please give us a thumbs up. Consider subscribing. If not, that's okay. And if you've seen some of these contrasting storylines, go ahead and put them in the comments below. Until next week, I'm AJ Holloway, and this is 5 Minute Friday.